Well, will things be good for the Fantastic Four? Seems like it. If you believe in the hype train is starting for the Fantastic Four. So let's see what they say. Right now, it looks like the Fantastic Four, the first steps, the preview reactions are hailing it as the best MCU movie since Avengers Endgame. Fans and critics in Brazil were recently treated to a 30-minute preview of the Fantastic Four first steps, and some early reactions are calling it the next MCU movie, and it's the best one since Avengers Endgame. The cast of the Fantastic Four first steps have been touring the globe, and fans and critics in Brazil were recently treated to a 30-minute preview comprised of scenes from the first and second acts. It was intended to give viewers a taste of what to expect from the MCU. So, to be clear, it's not the full thing. However, some early reactions have started doing the rounds on social media, and they're overwhelmingly positive. MP Morales called filmmaker Matt Shakman's world building incredible and declared what they've been shown a cool introduction to the quartet, their powers, and the looming threat of Silver Surfer. Another ex-user, Good Nerd 23, said the Fantastic Four first steps might be the best Marvel movie post-Endgame. Feels a lot like The Incredibles. It's super fun, it's colorful, and different from other Marvel films. The Silver Surfer steals the show. Fan account for Fantastico, BRA, also posted a lengthy breakdown of what he saw. Here are some of the highlights. What was shown not only surprised me, it genuinely moved me. The entire setting of this universe is unique. It's a great gift for the fans. It all starts with an intimacy we're not used to seeing in this type of movie. It feels like we're meeting a real family with vulnerabilities, humor, affection, and purpose. The dynamic between Reed and Sue is one of the highlights. We saw many scenes of the two together, and Vanessa and Pedro are in perfect sync, truly conveying the feeling of a couple that's been together for a long time. The relationship shows right from the start that this movie goes far beyond just showcasing superpowers. Ben and Johnny also shine. Each has a very well-defined personality, and the chemistry between them works from the first moment. Jokes come at the right time, and you know how it is, Johnny being Johnny. Plot has a family-oriented tone, and this becomes clear with the arrival of baby Franklin. Pure Fantastic Four. They're not just facing a major threat. Family bonds are at the heart of the story. Final sequence of preview I watched is one of those that makes the entire room hold its breath. The CGI is flawless, and the buildup of danger feels real. You sense the weight of what's at stake. This hopefully bodes well for the Fantastic Four first steps, as these reviews are glowing and not dissimilar to those for Superman's 30-minute preview last month. Marvel Studios delivered a dud with Captain America Brave New World earlier this year. Thunderbolts, meanwhile, was a critical hit, but struggled to attract an audience and looks set to end its run at the global box office with less than $400 million. Fantastic Four First Steps needs to be a hit, especially as it will lead directly into Avengers Doomsday next December. Spider-Man Brand New Day is still scheduled to be released before then, but it's a co-production with Sony Pictures, meaning that Disney and Marvel get a much smaller percentage of the profits. Okay, that was a lot in there. This is, I'm kind of torn on this one, Chris, because the first part of it is, it's only half an hour. Like,
yeah,
right? It's a half an hour, so it's like, look, but on the flip side, there's still, it seems like there's a lot of people who are saying essentially like the same thing. It's set up well. It's a good dynamic. You're feeling it. But we've seen movies that are really good in the beginning and then have been like, but then the middle just kind of like, it's the same old thing and it gets tired and the script kind of falls apart. You see that. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's hard to just say this is the best movie since Endgame. It's only these 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But it's encouraging that what they did see, they felt was they want to see more. That's more to me. The story is that they're just like, oh, I can't wait to see where this goes. All right, summer. It is here. More sun, more light, more time to do all the things that make summer so special. Number one thing you don't want to do all summer, you don't want to spend hours cooking inside. Trust me, it's hot. That's where Factor comes in. Factor chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over summer and beyond. Factor powers your day sun up to sundown with nutritious breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor has your whole day covered. Enjoy more this summer and get Factor if you want all the flavors and none of the fuss. Absolutely love Factor. You guys know I've been talking about Factor forever because it is so good, and they give you the options that you need. If you have a particular diet that you're on, that for me is like, I'm all about the protein right now, guys. And boy, did they have just delicious stuff. I love coming back from if it's a day at work, if it's something that I need to do if I'm coming back from the gym. Factor has me covered. So get started at factormeals.com/Christian50 off. Use that code Christian50 off to get 50% off free shipping on your first box. That's code Christian50 off at factormeals.com/Christian50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/Christian50 off.
I think that's absolutely it. And I want to be optimistic about this film. Everything that people are saying are the things I hope are what's delivered in this movie. But what comes to mind when we have early reactions or the 30-minute release is I go back to Buzz Lightyear or Lightyear at CinemaCon. And in that 30 minutes thinking, I just saw one of the best animated films of my life. This was so incredible. I can't wait to watch more. And then I saw the rest of that film and went, oh, okay. Well, we went a little different than what I thought. And I didn't have as jarring a reaction as everyone else, but it was a letdown. And usually when we have these early reactions, people are super hyped. They're excited. They're at a big fan event with other fans, or they're at a sneak preview and they're getting all hyped about everything. So we're usually put in a position to be so excited about that movie. So while I hope this is all true, I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt and go, well, we have really high expectations. Everything has been at that litmus of, is it better than Endgame? Honestly, most movies aren't going to be. They had a decade to build up to that. And so it's always such an unfair comparison too. I hope it's really great. I hope I see this and go, wow, this is one of the most exciting MCU movies I've ever seen. But I'm going to go into it as cautiously optimistic as I can allow myself to be, so I also don't disappoint myself with an expectation.
More than fair. I think that you can say, look, every one of them could be absolutely correct, that those first 30 minutes are just out of control. But the question is, what comes after that one? What's the rest? What's the next hour and a half like? That's going to be the question. Now, what I will say is, Brett, did you watch WandaVision?
Oh yeah.
So this is the director of that. That excites me. That excites me. See what Shankman's going to do with this.
Oh yeah.
That excites me. I'm actually, and I like, because I think John Watts was originally supposed to do this movie, and I like John Watts a lot. But I think this is a better choice, because I think Shankman takes a little bit more risks. And again, I like Watts. I like Watts a lot. Watts takes some risks, but I think that for some reason Shankman just seems a little bit more punk rock. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but it could be absolutely wrong. But he feels like he's just going to take more shots at it. But do you care at all about the Fantastic Four? But as someone who's not following the MCU that much right now, do you give it 5 shits?
Oh no, I do. Because we watched the trailer for it like when I first came back to doing the old Kristian Harloff show, and I really thought it looked super cool. I just don't think you should ever make a statement that says something's going to be bigger than Endgame until it actually becomes bigger than Endgame. Then you can say that was bigger than Endgame. But I think that's a very, very bold statement. But as far as excitement, I am more excited about this one actually than I am of Superman.
Yeah, I mean, well, that is, but you know, there's Marvel fans, there's DC fans.
Yeah.
And not that you can't be both, but where you get more anticipated for one or the other, right? And Marvel has been essentially, you know, the Yankees for a long time. So there are a lot of fans that want to see where they're going to go, and plus they're rooting for Marvel to get back on track. And what better to do than the first family of kind of comic books? And so, you know, in order to do that, especially since Kevin Feige has been waiting to do this movie and since they got the rights back, I watched Mallrats. Finished watching Mallrats with my oldest. She had never seen it before, and she wanted to see it and watch it. She loved it, but I forget that scene with Stan Lee is just so good. It's just so good, and he looks so healthy.
Oh yeah,
geez. 95. He looks so good. But he was talking when he's sitting there talking to Brody, and he's telling him all these different things, and you're like, you wouldn't even had known what was coming, because that was like 95. It wasn't the explosion that it was. I guess X-Men and Blade kind of really started off 3 to 5 years later. But then the MCU was a long time away. It was like 14 years away from that movie, whatever it was. So or even more than that, right? No, it was like 14 years. I guess because when Iron Man came out, 2009, 2008. I always forget. I think it was 2008. Sure. I think it was 2008. It came out in 2008. So, and Mallrats was 95. But anyway, just thinking about that, and I guess they talk about just everything that that they accomplished and all those characters, how important Fantastic Four was to the start of Marvel in general, and how important, ironically, that they could be now when they really need a win, like a big win, not like we broke even win. They need a win, because if, Chris, the Fantastic Four does pull off, let's say they pull off a $200 million weekend and Superman does 150, it doesn't mean Superman loses. It just means that Fantastic Four delivers.
Exactly. Well, and this is what a good time to be a superhero fan. What a good time to be a comic book fan.
Right.
Like, both of them, I would love for both of them to do well. I would love that so much. And I think that'd be great. Marvel does need a bit more of that financial win right now, because we did get the critical win, like you brought up, right? With the Thunderbolts. People enjoyed that movie. Unfortunately, people just didn't go to see that. And part of that is the mix of maybe there's the mediocrity fatigue of, I'm just going to wait to see that on streaming. And also just how we're programmed to watch movies now. I'll just catch it when it's on streaming. It'll be on Disney Plus, no worries.
Right.
So this just needs to do well enough to get people to go, oh, I want to see that in a theater. And hopefully these early reviews talking about how incredible the visuals are, how flawless the CGI supposedly is, gets people to go see it in theaters as opposed to just waiting till it's dumped on streaming, because that's what they really need. Is they need spectacle. They need people to get back in theaters for Marvel.
Yeah, you want to care, right? You really I'll tell you what, as much and I'm not going to get into the whole thing again, but like there was rumors as far as why Pedro Pascal was cast. Now, if those rumors are true, I've said it many times over, I think that's a bad choice. But if they cast him because he went in and said this is the right guy to play Reed, I will tell you that it was the right call to cast Pedro Pascal, because as I talked about in general with the mainstream audience, the guy is huge right now. He's with Last of Us and everything else he's going on. He's in Gladiator. He's in all these different things and all these movies that people like, and outside of just the science fiction world, you push him out there he does smaller films. He is one of the it guys right now. So, and you can say, well, he's in everything. Yeah, but you put him in a movie where you get people to go, who's in that? Oh, Pedro Pascal's in it. Oh, yeah, I like that guy. I'll go see it. You need that right now. For this movie, you need that right now. So I think overall it was a good choice to put him in the movie. But we'll see. We'll see how the film is going to do. We'll see if it's as good as Endgame. I always agree with Brett. I think sometimes, and look, it was a fan that said that. You can't tell the fan not to say that. But I think to trust it right away, let's go see the movie. What say you guys? You think this movie's going to be pretty good? Or is this early hype and take it easy? It's a half an hour of the movie. Or is it pretty encouraging that people are loving this first half an hour and saying how good it is? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.